Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive.
Excited to be here.
Today, we're diving into the world of AI.
Ooh, fun.
It is fun,
Yeah.
especially because we're going to be looking at some predictions about the future straight from Sam Altman.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the CEO of OpenAI.
Big name.
Big name, big ideas, and he's not afraid to make some pretty bold predictions.
That's right.
We've got this recent interview with him
Okay.
where he kind of lays out his vision, and
Yeah.
it's a wild ride.
I bet.
We're talking superintelligence, folks.
Whoa.
Maybe even sooner than you think.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
Yeah. Plus, all the drama surrounding OpenAI right now, including those Elon Musk lawsuits.
Oh, yeah. Can't forget about those.
Can't forget about those. Buckle up.
All right, let's do it.
So one of the things that really jumped out at me from this interview was Altman's timeline for superintelligence.
Yeah.
Like, he throws out this number
Okay.
that's way more aggressive than anything we've heard from other experts in the field.
Really?
He's saying superintelligence could be just a few thousand days away.
A few thousand days.
That's like blink and you miss it territory.
Yeah. That's not very far off.
It's not very far off. It really makes you stop and think, like, wait, is this sci-fi or is this actually happening?
Right. It's like that line is getting blurrier and blurrier all the time.
Exactly. So for anyone who needs a quick refresher,
Please.
we're talking about the leap from AGI,
Right.
artificial general intelligence,
Right.
which is essentially AI reaching human-level smarts,
Gotcha.
to superintelligence, where AI surpasses us in terms of, or pretty much everything.
Yeah, and that's where things get a little unsettling.
Yeah.
For sure.
A little bit.
But Altman, he doesn't shy away from that potential leap.
No, he does not.
He actually thinks that the shift to AGI might be smoother than we imagine,
Okay.
but that the economic aftershocks
Yeah.
could be massive and come on really fast.
Yeah.
You know, think about it. What happens when AI can do your job,
Oh, boy.
but better?
Yeah.
And not just your job.
Yeah.
Practically every job.
Oh, that's a little scary.
It's a big question mark, right?
It is a big question mark.
It is.
I'll admit that's a little unsettling.
Yeah.
But Altman seems pretty optimistic that the researchers who are working on AI safety
Okay.
will figure out how to keep things under control,
Keep things under control.
especially with the power of deep learning.
So he's putting a lot of faith in deep learning to solve those safety issues.
He seems to have a lot of faith in that approach.
That's interesting because deep learning is driving so much of the AI progress we're seeing.
Yeah.
But can it really handle the ethical complexities of superintelligence?
Right.
You know, can you just throw more data at a problem like that and expect it to magically solve itself?
Yeah.
I'm not so sure about that.
Yeah. There are definitely some big question marks there.
Yeah.
And speaking of progress, let's talk about those scaling laws we've been hearing so much about.
Yes, scaling laws.
In the AI world,
Right.
the basic idea is more data, more computing power equals better AI performance.
Makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Seems pretty straightforward.
It does.
But some folks are saying we're hitting a wall with that approach.
Wall.
Like we're reaching the limits of what scaling can achieve.
Interesting.
And Altman's response is essentially like, hold my beer.
Oh, really?
He's like, there is no wall.
Okay.
He is convinced that we are just scratching the surface of what AI can do.
He's very confident.
He's very confident, and he points to these three key ingredients:
Okay.
computing power, data, and algorithms.
Okay. The building blocks.
The building blocks, right. And OpenAI is pushing the limits on all three of those fronts.
I can imagine.
But Altman seems particularly excited about advancements in algorithm.
Algorithms, okay.
Specifically this thing called a transformer.
A transformer.
It sounds pretty sci-fi.
It does sound a little sci-fi.
Can you break that down for us non-techie folks out there?
Sure. So imagine a super-powered language processor,
Okay.
one that can understand and generate text.
Yeah.
That sounds just like a human wrote it.
Oh.
That's basically what a transformer is.
Okay.
And it's the tech behind systems like ChatGPT.
ChatGPT.
Yeah.
So like that's a transformer.
That's a transformer in action.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And Altman thinks breakthroughs like this are crucial for pushing AI even further.
Makes sense?
Yeah, so we've got this incredible potential, but also these massive challenges.
Of course.
And of course, there's the whole competitive landscape, right?
Right.
We can't forget about OpenAI's relationship with Microsoft.
The big partnership.
The big partnership, which has been making headlines lately.
It has.
There have been some whispers about tension brewing between them.
Oh, some drama.
A little bit of drama, a little bit of friction, maybe even some philosophical differences.
Ooh, that's juicy.
It is a little juicy.
Yeah.
But Altman kind of downplays that.
Okay.
He acknowledges there have been some bumps in the road,
Sure.
but overall, he's pretty positive about the partnership and seems genuinely excited about working with Microsoft in the future.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, it seems like a pretty fruitful collaboration
Yeah.
so far.
Okay.
One thing that stood out to me was Altman's focus.
Okay.
He's all about the research and building cool products.
Right.
He's happy to leave the grunt work of building massive data centers to Microsoft.
Okay, so he's focusing on the big picture stuff.
Yeah, kind of like what Amazon did with AWS.
Right, the cloud computing giant.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
He sees that as a smart move, letting OpenAI stay nimble and focus on what they do best.
I can see that.
Yeah, so it's an interesting strategy, right?
It is.
It makes you wonder if it's sustainable in the long run.
Yeah.
How much control does OpenAI give up by relying so heavily on Microsoft?
That's a good question.
Could it influence their research or what products they choose to develop?
Yeah, it makes you think about the power dynamics there.
For sure. And then, of course, we have to factor in the competition heating up, right?
Oh, yeah.
We've got Elon Musk's XAI making waves.
Right.
And Amazon is jumping into the AI arena, too.
It's getting crowded.
It's getting very crowded.
Well,
They're all pouring resources into data centers and building their own models.
it's like an AI arms race.
It really is an AI arms race.
That's kind of exciting.
It is exciting. It's a little bit scary, too.
Yeah, I guess so.
But Altman seems to have a healthy respect for how fast these other companies are moving.
Okay.
And he drops this analogy that really got me thinking.
What an analogy. I love a good analogy.
He compares the rise of AI to the way transistors became this fundamental building block for
Yeah.
pretty much all modern technology.
The transistor analogy, I like it.
It really drives home his point that AI is going to be everywhere,
Yeah.
powering everything we use.
It'll become so ingrained we won't even think about it.
Exactly. Eventually, we won't even think of it as AI anymore. It'll just be life.
That's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it.
It is mind-blowing, and it's both exciting and a little bit unnerving.
Yeah, I get that.
Right.
A lot to process.
It's a lot of process. All right, so we've got this potentially world-changing tech on the horizon,
Yep.
this super fast-paced evolution, and competition heating up left and right.
It's intense.
Now add a dash of personal drama
Uh-oh.
and legal battles into the mix, courtesy of Elon Musk.
Oh, boy, here we go.
This is where things get really interesting.
I was wondering when we'd get to this.
So you have Musk, who was one of OpenAI's founders,
Right.
but he's become increasingly critical of their direction.
Oh, wow. So there's a falling out.
A bit of a falling out.
Okay.
He's even filed 2 lawsuits against them.
2?
2 lawsuits. It's a pretty dramatic turn of events.
That's a lot of drama.
It's a lot of drama, and you can really hear the disappointment in Altman's voice when he talks about it.
Yeah.
He practically idolized Musk growing up,
I can imagine.
and now they're at odds like this.
Gotta be tough.
It's got to be really tough. It's a reminder that even with all this futuristic tech stuff happening, it's still human relationships and emotions driving a lot of the action.
Very true. It's a human story at the end of the day.
It is a human story at the end of the day. And those lawsuits add another layer of uncertainty to OpenAI's future.
Oh, of course they do.
One of the suits challenges their whole for-profit structure,
Really?
claiming they've strayed from their original nonprofit mission.
So they're saying they sold out.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
Can you unpack that a little for us?
Sure. So OpenAI started as a nonprofit
Right.
dedicated to developing AI for the benefit of all humanity.
Okay. Very idealistic.
Very idealistic.
Yeah.
But as their ambitions grew,
Uh-huh.
they needed more resources.
Sure.
And that's when they started exploring different models,
Like what?
like having a for-profit arm
Okay.
or becoming a public benefit corporation
But PBC.
owned by a nonprofit.
Interesting. So that's what triggered the lawsuit.
That's right. Musk's lawsuit argues that those changes were all about making money
Okay.
and betrayed OpenAI's original commitment to doing good.
Wow. That's a pretty harsh accusation.
It is.
Yeah.
And it also claims that OpenAI tried to stifle competition by preventing investors from supporting rival AI projects.
So like trying to corner the market.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
But Altman denies those allegations.
Of course he does.
Yeah, he says investors are free to support competitors, but they might lose access to OpenAI's information if they do.
Ah, so there's a catch.
There might be.
Interesting.
It's a complex situation.
Very complex.
Oh, sure.
And then there's that whole self-dealing accusation.
Oh, yeah. The idea that Altman used OpenAI's influence to benefit his own investments in other companies.
Right. What's the deal with that?
Well, the lawsuit points to companies like Humane Pin,
Okay.
Stripe,
Uh-huh.
and Rain Neuromorphic Chips, where Altman has stakes.
So he's got his fingers in a lot of pies.
He does.
Okay.
And it claims that he used OpenAI's position to help those companies score deals.
So there's a potential conflict of interest there?
Potentially.
Yeah.
that this obviously adds more scrutiny to OpenAI's
Hmm.
operations
Yeah.
and raises questions about whether there were any conflicts of interest.
And as if things weren't messy enough, we have the New York Times suing OpenAI and Microsoft for training ChatGPT on their content.
Oh, wow, that's a big one.
It's a big one. It opens up a whole other can of worms about the future of content creation.
Yeah, in the age of AI.
Exactly.
So this lawsuit is fascinating because it really gets at the tension
Yeah.
between AI's need to learn from existing information
Right.
and the rights of creators.
Yeah, like where do you draw the line?
Exactly.
Altman believes in the right to learn for AI,
Okay.
but he also acknowledges that we need better systems
Sure.
to ensure creators are fairly compensated when AI uses their work.
That makes sense.
Yeah, he seems especially interested in micropayment models,
Micropayments.
where creators can opt in and get paid when AI borrows their style,
Okay.
their likeness, or their actual content.
Interesting idea.
It's a novel idea,
It is.
but whether it can really address the complex legal and ethical issues around AI and copyright remains to be seen.
Yeah, it's a big question mark.
It is a big question mark.
For sure.
And then there's Altman's rather pointed remark
What's that?
about the New York Times being on the wrong side of history on this issue.
Wow, he didn't hold back.
He did not hold back,
Right.
which shows how strongly he feels about this and hints at the growing tension between those who create content and those who are building these increasingly powerful AI systems.
It's a clash of titans.
It is a clash of titans.
All right, so we've got superintelligence looming lawsuits flying.
Yep.
The future of work hanging in the balance.
It's a lot to process.
A lot.
We're going to pause here for a moment, but when we come back, we'll dig deeper into the implications of Altman's vision and what it all means for you, the listener.
Can't wait.
Stay tuned.
Welcome back. So we've been unpacking Sam Altman's predictions about AI, and it's clear he sees it as this massive force that's going to reshape everything, not just tech, but, the whole way we live and work.
Yeah. And what's fascinating is that he doesn't really sugarcoat the potential disruptions either.
No, he doesn't.
Yes.
He's upfront about the fact that AI could cause some, pretty major economic shifts.
Yeah, like how major are we talking?
Well, he even suggests that those changes might start slow, almost like society is taking a deep breath before plunging into the deep end.
Okay.
But then they could accelerate it really rapidly.
But hold on tight because things are about to get crazy.
Yeah, something like that.
That makes me wonder, what skills or knowledge will even be valuable in a
Right.
world where AI can potentially do
Yeah.
a lot of the jobs that humans do now. How do we even begin to adapt to that?
That's the question.
Right.
It is the question.
And Altman's take is interesting. He doesn't really buy into that whole robots are going to take all our jobs and, we'll just be sitting around twiddling our thumbs.
Right.
He thinks we'll always find new things to do,
Okay.
but the nature of work will fundamentally change.
So it's like we need to rethink the whole idea of a career path,
Yeah, potentially.
right? If AI can automate a lot of existing jobs, what new opportunities will open up?
What will it take to not just survive, but thrive in this new economy?
I mean, those are big questions.
They are big questions.
And they go way beyond just the tech world. This is something that policymakers,
Yep.
educators, business leaders, everyone needs to be grappling with.
And it's not just about jobs either, right?
Yeah.
Think about the impact on things like education, healthcare, entertainment,
Yeah.
even art and creativity.
Oh, absolutely. AI has the potential to revolutionize every aspect of our lives.
And that brings up a really crucial point.
What's that?
We're not just passengers on this AI train, right?
Well, we're not.
We have a responsibility to shape how this technology is developed and used
Yeah.
to make sure it aligns with our values and ultimately benefits humanity.
I think that's a really important point.
Yeah, and speaking of shaping the future, let's circle back to OpenAI's structure
Okay.
and how it's evolved. We talked earlier about how they started as a nonprofit but have explored different models, including for-profit elements.
Right.
What's interesting is that Altman seems to be searching for that sweet spot,
Yeah.
that structure that allows them to pursue ambitious research while also securing the resources they need.
It's a tough balance to strike.
It's a tough balance. He mentioned the possibility of becoming a public benefit corporation or a PBC
PVC.
with a nonprofit owning a big chunk of the company.
Interesting. How would that even work?
So a PBC is kind of like a hybrid.
What?
It allows a company to pursue both profit and social good.
So they can do good and make money at the same time.
Exactly. In this case, the nonprofit ownership would, in theory, help ensure that OpenAI's mission of developing beneficial AI stays front and center even as they generate revenue and attract investors.
So it's like a built-in safeguard.
It's like a built-in safeguard, right? It's like they're trying to create a whole new type of company.
Interesting.
One that's built for this unique world of AI.
Yeah, and it highlights the need for some, fresh thinking when it comes to governance and ownership.
Yeah.
In this rapidly changing landscape, like the old ways of doing things might not cut it anymore.
Now let's get back to those lawsuits, especially the one from Elon Musk.
Okay.
It seems like a big part of his argument is that OpenAI's shift toward a more commercially driven model undermines their original mission.
So he's basically saying that the changes were motivated by money.
Yeah, and that they've strayed from their commitment to developing AI safely and responsibly.
That's a pretty serious accusation.
It's a serious accusation.
It really gets to the heart of who OpenAI is and what they stand for.
And it's not just the for-profit aspect, right?
Right.
The lawsuit also claims that OpenAI has tried to limit competition,
Oh, really?
preventing investors from backing other AI ventures.
So trying to stifle innovation.
Potentially.
Yeah.
That's concerning. It's concerning because it raises these questions about whether OpenAI is prioritizing its own success
Yeah.
over the advancement of the field as a whole.
Right. Could those kinds of restrictions stifle innovation and limit the different approaches to AI development?
Exactly. It's a valid question.
It is.
Of course, Altman denies those allegations.
Okay.
He says investors are free to support competitors,
Right.
but they might lose access to OpenAI's information if they do.
So there's a catch.
There's a catch. It's a complex legal battle
It sounds like it.
that really reflects the high stakes and fierce competition in the AI world.
It's a high-stakes game, for sure.
It is a high stakes game, and it's important to remember that Musk's perspective is shaped by his own views on AI right.
Of course.
He's been very vocal about his concerns about the potential dangers of uncontrolled AI.
Yeah. Advocating for caution and ethical considerations.
Right. It's almost like we're witnessing this philosophical clash
Interesting.
between these two giants in the AI world,
Okay.
each with their own strong beliefs about the right way forward.
Yeah. A clash of the titans.
Clash of the Titans, and this clash isn't confined to courtrooms either, right?
No, it's happening everywhere.
It's happening in research labs, in boardrooms,
In public discussions.
even in public discussions, as we all try to wrap our heads around the profound implications of this rapidly advancing technology.
It's a conversation that's happening on every level.
And then we have the New York Times lawsuit, which adds a whole other dimension to the conversation.
Oh, right. It's the New York Times.
The impact of AI on creative work and the rights of creators.
Right. That lawsuit is so significant because it highlights that growing tension between AI's ability to learn from existing content and the need to protect the intellectual property of those who created that content.
Yeah, Altman's stance is interesting here.
What's his take?
He believes in AI's right to learn, arguing that just as humans learn from reading and absorbing information, AI should be able to do the same.
Okay. I can see that perspective.
But he also recognizes that we need new models to ensure creators are fairly compensated when AI uses their work.
Just finding that balance.
Finding that balance. Yeah, he's floated this idea of micropayment systems where creators can choose to get paid when AI draws on their style, their likeness, their actual content.
That's an interesting solution.
It is an interesting solution, but can it really address all the legal and ethical complexities of AI and copyright?
Yeah. That's a big question.
Big question. The jury's still out on that one.
And it goes beyond just money too, right?
It does.
It's also about attribution control.
Yeah.
And the very nature of creativity in a world where AI can generate increasingly sophisticated and even indistinguishable content.
It raises some pretty profound questions, like if AI can write a novel in the style of your favorite author or compose a symphony that sounds just like Beethoven.
Yeah.
What does that mean for the concept of originality and artistic expression?
It's like we're entering this new era where the lines between human and machine creativity are blurring.
And it's not just a philosophical debate.
Right.
It has real implications for copyright law, intellectual property rights.
Yeah. The future of the creative industries as a whole.
So these are complex issues.
They are.
And we're only beginning to scratch the surface as AI continues to advance. We'll need to find ways to balance its incredible potential with the need to protect human creativity, ensure fairness, and uphold ethical principles.
It's a tall order.
It is a tall order.
But it's essential that we get it right.
It is absolutely essential. It's a good reminder that the future of AI isn't just about technological advancements, right?
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
about the choices we make, the values we prioritize,
Right.
and the conversations we have about how to shape this technology to benefit everyone.
We're all in this together.
We are all in this together. We're going to take a moment to gather our thoughts,
Okay.
but when we come back, we'll explore some final insights and leave you with some thought-provoking questions to consider.
Just good.
Stay with us. All right, we're back for the final part of our deep dive into Sam Altman's vision of the AI-powered future.
It's been quite a journey.
It has been. We've covered superintelligence, legal battles, the changing nature of work.
The impact on creativity,
It's a lot to wrap your head around.
a lot to think about.
So as we wrap up,
Yep.
I think it's crucial to kind of step back and ask, like, what does all this mean for you, the listener?
Right. What are the key takeaways from Altman's perspective
Mm-hmm.
that you can apply to your own life, your own work, your own future?
You know what really struck me throughout this whole conversation
Yeah.
was the urgency in Altman's voice. Like,
Yeah.
he really believes this stuff.
He really believes it. He's not talking about some far-off sci-fi scenario.
Right.
He genuinely believes that superintelligence could be here
Uh-huh.
within a few thousand days.
Wow.
That's a time frame we can actually grasp,
It is.
which makes it all the more real and maybe a little daunting, too.
Yeah, it's a call to action, isn't it?
It is a call to action.
We can't just sit back and wait to see what happens.
No.
We need to be actively engaged,
Right.
understanding the implications and figuring out how to steer AI in a direction that benefits everyone.
And it's not just about having those technical skills either.
Right. Absolutely not.
It's about being adaptable,
Right.
being a critical thinker.
Someone who can navigate a world where change is the only constant.
Those are the skills that will be more valuable than ever.
Think about the kids growing up today.
Yeah.
They're digital natives. They're totally comfortable with AI being a part of their lives.
Right. It's just normal for them.
It's just normal for them. So what kind of world are they going to inherit? What opportunities and challenges will they face?
That's a great point. It makes me think about our education system.
Yeah.
Are we preparing young people for a future where AI is going to be a major player? Are we having those tough conversations about the ethical implications of this technology?
Those are conversations we all need to be having, not just educators.
Absolutely.
We're all on this journey together, figuring out how to navigate this uncharted territory.
It's a brave new world.
It is a brave new world. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm left with this question.
Oh.
That wasn't explicitly addressed in our source material, but one that I think is worth pondering.
I'm listening.
If Altman is right and superintelligence is just around the corner, what can we do today to prepare ourselves and our communities for this seismic shift?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
It reminds us that the future of AI isn't some predetermined fate.
Yeah.
It's something we're actively shaping.
Yeah.
With every choice we make, every conversation we have, every action we take.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Sam Altman's world of AI.
It's been a pleasure.
It's a complex, fascinating, and rapidly evolving landscape, and we encourage you to keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep engaging with these crucial topics.
Don't be afraid to dive in.
Until next time, stay curious.